Hey guys, welcome back. So for the first time ever, I might actually have one of these videos out to you guys on time. So in this video, we're going to talk about the books that have just been released in March. At this point, I haven't gotten any feedback on whether or not we like chronology or not, so I'm just going to go down my list. Coming out March 18th, we have Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins, and I cannot tell you how excited I am for this book. This is a Hunger Games prequel. Stop it. Get down. Oh my god. Look at this boy. Sora, did you lose my forest spirit? Sora, don't be grumpy. You can't go knocking down all things. No. No, no, no. When you've been set up to lose everything you love, what is there left to fight for? As the day dawns on the 50th annual Hunger Games, fear grips the districts of Panam. This year, in honor of the Quarter Quell, twice as many tributes will be taken from their homes. Back in District 12, Hamish Abernathy is trying not to think too hard about his chances. All he cares about is making it through the day and being with the girl that he loves. When Hamish's name is called, he can feel all his dreams break. He's torn from his family and his love, shuttled to the capital with the 3 other District 12 tributes. A young friend who's nearly a sister to him, a compulsive oddsmaker, and the most stuck-up girl in town. As the games begin, Hamish understands he's been set up to fail, but there's something in him that wants to fight, and have that fight reverberate far beyond the deadly arena. Alright, you can stay out of trouble. Hamish Abernathy is such an interesting character, and obviously in the first Hunger Games you don't really get to see the depth of his character. He just seems like a drunk, and he is until he sees Katniss and sees that she might be the hope that everything needs. And I don't know, I always wanted to know more about Hamish's life because he was the first, and until Katniss, the only one from District 12 who won. He also was on a Quarter Quell. So they do special things. So I can't tell you, I'm super excited. And that one comes out March 18th. March 4th, The Chronicles of Castellane, The Ragpicker Queen. Oh my god, I'm really having a hard time talking. The Ragpicker King by Cassandra Clare. It is the second book in the Chronicles of Castellane series, or better known as The Swordcatcher. And The Swordcatcher was really good. I read it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was so well done. I don't want to give the summary of the second book in case you haven't read the first book, but the first book is about the city of Castellane. The richest of nobles and the most debauched of criminals have one thing in common: the constant search for wealth, power, and the next hedonistic thrill. Kell is an orphan, stolen from the life he knew to become the Swordcatcher, the body double of the royal heir, Prince Connor Aurelian. He has been raised alongside the prince, trained in every aspect of combat and statecraft. He and Connor are as close as brothers, but Kell knows that his destiny is to die for Connor. No other future is possible. Lancaster is one of the Ashkar, a small community whose members still possess magical abilities. By law, they must live behind the walls within the city, but Lynn is a physician, ventures out to tend to the sick and dying in Castellane. Despite her skills, she cannot heal her best friend without access to forbidden knowledge. So she's kind of on this quest for that forbidden knowledge to save her friend. After a failed assassination attempt brings Lynn and Kell together, they are drawn into a web of mysterious Ragpicker King, the criminal ruler of Castellane's underworld. He offers them each what they want most, but as they descend into his world of intrigue and shadow, they discover a conspiracy of corruption that reaches from the darkest gutters of Castellane to the highest tower of the palaces. As long-kept secrets begin to unravel, they must ask themselves, is knowledge worth the price of betrayal? Can forbidden love bring down a kingdom? And will their discoveries plunge their nation into war and the world into chaos? I found the first book incredible. I cannot wait till the second book comes out. It really left us on a cliffhanger of like all of these questions that need to be answered. The magic system was kind of slow burn. It seemed really subtle, but now it's like, oh man, there's something good there. So yes, I'm very, very excited for this. Coming out on March 18th, we have Buffalo Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones. This author keeps popping up in so many searches that I keep doing recently. And I did try to read one of his books that I did not connect to very well, but his book sounds so good. So, The Buffalo Hunter is a chilling historical novel set in the American West in 1912, following a Lutheran priest who transcribes the life of a vampire who haunts the fields of Blackfeet Reservation looking for justice. So it seems like a lot of his books really feature Native Americans, and I think that's why I'm so drawn to his work. A diary written in 1912 by a Lutheran pastor is discovered within a wall. What it unveils is a slow massacre, a chain of events that go back to 217 Blackfeet dead in the snow, told in transcribed interviews by a Blackfeet named Good Stab, who shares a narrative of his peculiar life over a series of confessional visits. This is an American Indian revenge story written by one of the new masters of horror, Stephen Graham Jones. Okay, this is a book that I was so graciously given an ARC copy of, and that is The Otherwhere Post by Emily J. Taylor. This author also wrote Hotel Magnifique, which I have not read yet, but is like on my list to read at some point this year. This book is supposed to come out in March. I don't actually know. So the last time I checked, it actually said it was on Goodreads. It says it's supposed to come out February 25th. Maybe it's March 25th. I'm really sorry. When I figure it out, I will post it down here. And I'm also going to put these dates in the description box. I need to double check that I did it on my other videos. If not, go ahead and yell at me. So, The Otherwhere Post. Deadly mystery that spans worlds and a teenage girl who must risk everything to uncover the truth. 7 years ago, Maeve Abernathy lost her world, her father, even her name. Desperate to escape the stain of her father's crimes, she lives under a fake name, never staying in one place long enough to put down roots. Then she receives a mysterious letter with 4 impossible words. Your father was innocent. To uncover the truth, she poses as an apprentice for the Otherwhere Post, where she'll be trained in the art of scriptomancy, the dangerous magic that allows couriers to enchant letters and deliver them to other worlds. But looking into her father's past draws more attention than she'd planned. Her secretive, infuriatingly handsome mentor knows she's lying about her identity, and time is running out to convince him to trust her. Worse, she begins to receive threatening letters warning her to drop her investigation, or else. For Maeve to unravel the mystery of what has happened 7 years ago, she may have to forfeit her life. I have started this book. I'm hoping to finish it this week, and then I will have an official review out for this book. I'm probably going to do a video around this book. So far, it is so incredibly good. I love the writing style. I love the characters. The plot is very twisty. It's very cleverly written. So I am thoroughly enjoying this. All right, coming out March 25th, Blood on Her Tongue. This is horror, gothic, and vampires. Basically, sign me up. I'm in your blood, and you are in mine. The Netherlands, 1887. Lucy's twin sister Sarah is unwell. She refuses to eat, mumbles nonsensically, and is increasingly obsessed with a centuries-old corpse, recently discovered on her husband's grand estate. The doctor has diagnosed her with temporary insanity caused by a fever of the brain. To protect her twin from a terrible fate in a lunatic asylum, Lucy must unravel the mystery surrounding her sister's condition. But it's clear her twin is hiding something. Then again, Lucy is harboring secrets of her own too. Then the worst happens. Sarah's behavior takes a turn for the strange. She becomes angry and hungry. Lucy soon comes to suspect that something is trying to possess her beloved sister. Or is it madness? As Sarah changes before her very eyes, Lucy must reckon with the dark, monstrous truth or risk losing her forever. I think that we all can kind of surmise what is supposed to be happening there in that picture, but it's about vampires. It made it to the list. I have to read it. Okay. I don't know when this one comes out either. So I will look it up and I will put it in here for you. What Wakes the Bells? All right, this book sounds really interesting, a little bit strange. The name of the city I cannot pronounce. I'm just going to call it Vane. I'm sorry. I cannot make it work in my mouth. So this is actually a book inspired by an ominous Prague legend. What Wakes the Bells is a lavish gothic fantasy by debut author Elle Tesh. Built By long gone saints, the city of Vane lives and breathes and bleeds as a keeper. Oh, and bleeds. As a keeper, Mina knows better than most what her care of Vane's bells means for the sentient city. Sorry, real quick, but doesn't that just sound so creepy? The sentient city? It's the Strauss family's 1,000-year legacy. Prevent the vespers from ringing, or they will awake the slumbering evil. One afternoon, to Mina's horror, her bell peals 13 times, shattering the city's tenuous peace. With so much of the city's history and lore lost in long-ago disaster, no one knows the danger that has been unleashed until the city begins to fight back. As the sun sets, stone gargoyles and bronze statues tear away from their buildings, and plinths to hunt people through the streets. Trapped in Mina's bell, the soul of a twisted and power-hungry saint festered. Now, free of his prison, he hides behind the face of one of Vane's citizens, corrupting the city and turning it on itself. Time is running out, and the only chance Mina has to stop the destruction and horrific killings is finding and destroying the saint's host. Everyone is a suspect, including Mina's closest loved ones. She will have to decide how far she will go to save her city and who she's willing to kill to do it. That just sounds so good. Okay, the next one comes out March 4th. Broken Country by Claire Leslie Hall. An evocative, sensitive, and compelling novel, Delilah Owens, New York Times bestselling author, Where the Crawdad Sings, that explores the deadly consequences of love triangle in the English farming village as dangerous secrets from the past resurface. Perfect for fans of The Paper Palace and Where the Crawdads Sing. I have not read Where the Crawdads Sing, but I loved the movie so much that I want to read the book one day. Yeah, I personally love love triangles. I think they are so dramatic. The farmer is dead. He's dead, and all anyone wants to know is who killed him. When her brother-in-law shoots a dog going after the sheep, Beth doesn't realize that the gunshot will alter the course of their lives, for the dog belonged to none other than Gabriel Wolfe, the man Beth loved as a teenager, the man who broke her heart all those years ago. Gabriel has returned to the village with his young son Leo, a boy who reminds Beth very much of her own son, Bobby, who died a few years earlier. As Beth is pulled back into Gabriel and Leo's lives, tensions around the village rise, and jealousy rears its ugly head. Beth and her genteel and kind husband Frank are happily married, but they have their fair share of secrets, and their relationship relies on the past staying buried. And when the truth begins to come out, events spiral out of control, this time with deadly consequences. Beth is forced to make a choice between the woman she once was and the woman she has become. A love story with pace and twists of a thriller. I really like, when it comes to thrillers, I personally really like domestic thrillers about, these relationship dynamics, married couples, that sort of thing. Coming out March 18th. The Bane Witch by Ava Morgan. And this claims to be practical magic meets Gone Girl. I don't know what the heck that is supposed to look like. But I love anything witchy, so I'm willing to give it a shot. Piers Corbin has always had an affinity for poisonous things, plants and men. From the pokeweed berries she consumed at age 5 that led to the accidental death of a stranger, to the husband whose dark proclivities have become concerning. Poison has been at the heart of her story. But when she fakes her own death in an attempt to escape her volatile marriage and goes to stay with her estranged great aunt in the mountains, she realizes her predilection is more than a hunger, it's a birthright. Piers comes from a long line of poison eaters, bane witches, women who ingest deadly plants and use their magic to rid the world of evil men. Piers sets out to earn her place in her family's gritty but distinguished legacy, all while working at her Aunt Myrtle's cafe and perpetuating a flirtation with a local, well-meaning sheriff to allay his suspicions on the body count she's been leaving in her wake. But soon she catches the attention of someone else, a serial killer operating in the area, and that only means one thing: it's time to feed. In Ava Morgan's dark, thrilling novel, The Bane Witch, a very little poison can do a lot of good. So, that sounds really good. I love witches. I love things about poisons. I don't know why, I just really do, so I'm really excited for that one. Coming out on March 4th is a new book by Ava Reid. I personally kind of have a 50-50 on Ava Reid books that I've read so far, so I am willing to continue giving her books a shot though. Fable for the End of the World by Ava Reed comes out March 4th. This is said to be The Last of Us meets The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and a standalone dystopian romance about survival, sacrifice, and love that risks everything. Sounds really interesting. By encouraging massive accumulations of debt from its underclass, a single corporation, Ceres controls all aspects of society. Inessa lives with her brother in a half-sunken town where they scrape by running a taxidermy shop. Okay. I am so intrigued. Unbeknownst to Inessa, their cruel and indolent mother has accrued an enormous debt, enough to qualify one of her children for Ceres's live-streamed assassination spectacle, the Lamb's Gauntlet. Melino is a serious assassin, trained to track and kill the sacrificial lambs, the product of neural reconditioning and physiological alteration. She is a living weapon, known for her cold brutality and deadly beauty. She has never failed to assassinate one of her marks. When Inessa learns that her mother has offered her a sacrifice, at first she despairs. The gauntlet is always a bloodbath for the impoverished debtors. But she's had years of practice surviving the apocalyptic wastes, and with the help of her hunter brother, she might stand a chance of staying alive. For Melino, this is a game she can't afford to lose. Despite her reputation for mercilessness, she is haunted by painful flashbacks after her last gauntlet, where she broke down on live stream. She desperately needs redemption. As Mel pursues Inessa across the wasteland, both girls begin to question everything. Inessa wonders if there's more to life than survival, while Mel wonders if she's capable of more than killing. Both wonder if, against all odds, they might be falling in love. Alright. So there's that one. Gothic Town by Emily Carpenter. This comes out March 25th. A restaurateur lured by pandemic-era incentives moves her family to a seemingly idyllic town in Georgia. The email message that lands in Billy Hope's inbox seems like a gift from the universe. For $100, she can purchase a spacious Victorian home in Juliana, Georgia, a small town eager to boost its economy in the wake of a pandemic. She can leave behind her cramped New York City rental and some painful memories, plus she'll get a business grant to open a new restaurant in a charming riverside community laden with opportunity. After some phone calls and one hurried visit, Billy and her husband and daughter are officially part of the Juliana Initiative. The town is everything promised, and between settling into her lavish home and starting a new restaurant, Billy is busy enough to dismiss misgivings. Yet those misgivings grow. There's something about Juliana, something off-kilter and menacing beneath its famous Southern hospitality. No matter how much Billy longed for her family to come here, she's starting to wonder how and whether they'll ever leave. Yeah, small towns, creepy small towns. I'm here for it. Okay, this one sounds kind of fun. This comes out March 18th. Serial Killer Support Group by Saratoga Schaefer. This comes out March 18th. After her sister is murdered, a woman infiltrates a support group of serial killers in the biting queer feminist debut thriller, perfect for fans of the Final Girl support group and My Sister the Serial Killer. When Syra Griffin's younger sister is murdered by a serial killer, Syra knows better than to expect justice from the hands of the police department. With the investigation already dying its own slow death, Syra follows the blood trail and finds her own way forward. Using insider information, don't ask, Syra infiltrates a support group for serial killers by pretending to be one herself in the hopes of finding the person who ended her sister's life. Proving herself to them comes at a cost, but it's one Syra is willing to pay in the name of revenge. Unfortunately, the dangerous men in the group aren't the only obstacle to Syra's path for vengeance, and the further she descends into the deadly world of serial killers, the harder it becomes to hold on to her own humanity. Dark, witty debut novel, cunning homage to women's wrongs that will have you wondering exactly how many monsters walk unseen among us. I think I have to read that one. All right. Early 30s by Josh Duboff. March 18th. A hilarious and painfully relatable debut about two 30-something best friends' messy search for connection and love in New York. Perfect for fans of Rebecca Searle, Gabrielle Zevin, and Dolly Alderton. I've heard of them. I didn't put what the book is about, but I'm only kind of mildly interested in that one. It kind of made the list just because it's about 30-somethings. So, okay, the next one is When the Bones Sing. This comes out March 4th. A new Southern Gothic supernatural thriller about a teen girl in a small Ozark town who can hear the bones of the dead. So, I guess the Ozarks are also kind of a interesting small community. Have you seen that movie, The Ozarks? Granted, that was all about drugs and stuff like that, but I guess they characterized that area, that people like in a certain way. Anyways, the past 3 years have been tough for Lucifer's Creek, Arkansas, a small town quietly tucked away in the Ozark Mountains. More than 24 people have disappeared on the local hiking trails. There one moment, gone the next, not a trace left behind until their buried bodies are discovered. 17-year-old Dovey doesn't believe in magic, even though she comes from a long line of women who can hear the bones of the dead sing. And for the past few years, the bones have been crewing nonstop, calling out to Dovey to dig them up. Some of the old-timers believe that it's the monstrous Ozarks howler snatching people off the Ox-Ark trail. While Dovey doesn't believe in the howler, and she doesn't believe her best friend Lo when he tells her he is being haunted by dark shadows, all she believes in is her talent that guides the local sheriff to the bones when they begin their song, then reuniting the dead with their families to give them some peace. That kind of reminds me of, what is that? Ghost Whisperer a little bit. Lo doesn't know peace though. The shadows follow him everywhere. He soon learns they're the murdered hikers and they want answers, but the truth of their deaths isn't buried with their bones. It's hidden somewhere deep in the hills, and Lo and Dovey must unearth it before anyone else is killed. All right, that sounds so good. I like when we have like these mysteries that have like supernatural, paranormal elements to them. I just find them like so much more intriguing and interesting, you know? I think, is this the last? Yeah, this is the last one. All right, this is the last one. I'm super excited about this. This is called Elfie by Gregory Maguire. This will come out March 25th. And this follows Elphaba when she's a child. What happened to young Elphaba before her witchy powers took hold in Wicked? Almost 30 years after the publication of the original novel, for the first time, Gregory Maguire reveals the story of prickly young Elfie, the future Wicked Witch of the West, setting the stage for the blockbuster international phenomenon that is the musical. Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West, will grow to have a feisty and somewhat uncompromising character in adult life. She's always a one-off. From her infancy, Elfie is a riveting coming-of-age story of a very peculiar, relatable young girl. Young Elfie is shaped and molded by the behaviors of her promiscuous mother, Melina, and her pious father, Frex. She suffers ordinary childhood jealousies when her sister, Saintly Nesserose, and brother, Junior Felon, Shell arrive. She first encounters the mistreatment of the animal populations of Oz, which live adjacent but not intertwined with human settlements. Haunted by a monkey and receiving aid from dwarf bears, she thrashes through her first bruising attempts at friendship, a possible lifeline from the tricky family life, and she gleans the benefits of education, haphazard though it must be, until she arrives at the doors of Shiz University, about to meet the radiant creature that is Galinda. Elfie is destined to be a witch. She bears the markings from childhood, most evidently in her green skin, but more obscurely and profoundly in her cunning and perhaps immoral behaviors as she seeks to make do, to slip by, to sneak out, and to endure and to aspire. So yeah, those are all the books that I have that are coming out in March that I'm super excited for. I definitely didn't get all of the books that shall be coming out. If there is anything I left off if there is anything that you're interested in that I haven't listed here, please let me know what they are. And thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this, and we'll see you soon. Bye.